In 1820, Missouri was preparing to become a state, and they elected a new government. And at the time, they were in St. Louis. And as part of kind of the first actions they took, they created a constitution. And the constitution required that a new capital be found in the center of the state. And it had to be on the Missouri River, and it had to be within 40 miles of the Osage River. They really did want to have a central location where people from far northwest Missouri did not have to go all the way to St. Louis area for a capital. So that was a main reason for central Missouri. Another reason why on the river is that's how you got places. So it was easy for a lot of people to get here. Jefferson City has like 3 or 4 really good steamboat landing locations. So that was a selling point for what would become Jefferson City.
Although Jefferson City would eventually become the capital of the state, the area wasn't developed enough to house it. A temporary capital would be designated until a central location could be established.
Several communities vied to be that temporary capital, 8 or 9 communities, and St. Charles won for a couple of reasons. One, it was a bustling town at the time. It had a lot of trade. It was right on the Missouri River. It was right on the Boone's Lick Trace, so there was a lot going on for it. And 2, they offered a free building where the General Assembly could meet and the governor could have his office. So there was a big incentive for the state to have their first capital there in St. Charles. By about 1926, Jefferson City was, I wouldn't say it was well established, but there was about 35 families here. The capital had been constructed. And once the capital had been constructed, the General Assembly moved the state offices to Jefferson City.
The new building would be built of brick and act as the governor's home and state capital. Disaster would strike, however, making Jefferson City's new capital short-lived.
Jefferson City is actually on its 3rd Capitol building. The first one was built in 1826 and used till 1837, and it was actually located roughly where the governor's mansion is now. And that building caught on fire in 1937 and burned to the ground. But even in 1837, they knew that it was not going to be big enough to do what they need. So they had already taken steps to think about building a new capitol. So in 1840, the new capitol was completed on this location behind us. And that building was struck by lightning on February 5th, 1911 and burned to the ground. So a couple years later in 1913, they broke ground on our new capitol building.
The original budget called for the building to be constructed for $3 million, but due to miscalculations on revenue projections, over $4 million was collected for the project. The extra funds would be used to create the high-caliber sculptures and artwork seen throughout the Capitol today.
They had an amazing opportunity to really tell the story of Missouri through artwork inside the Capitol, and I think that's what kind of puts our Capitol a notch above most others. There's lunettes throughout the 2nd floor and some on the 3rd floor of the Capitol that actually tell Missouri stories from very early in its history on. Probably hands down what most people think about the Capitol or think of when they think of the Capitol are the Benton murals in the House Lounge. That mural connects with people because the people in them are so human. It's normal people doing their everyday lives, and I think that's an amazing connection that people have when they see that mural. When they were designing the new Capitol in the early teens, they really wanted to make a monument to Missouri. Almost everything about the Capitol really tells a story about Missouri. So all the exterior cladding and most of the stone cladding on the inside of the building was quarried in Missouri. A lot of the light fixtures and things were made by a company out of St. Louis. So they really, really tried to kind of use the Capitol as a showcase of what Missouri offers, not only its citizens, but the country. Every piece of artwork, all the busts in the Hall of Famous Missourians, everything is about who we are and our accomplishments and our values and commitment to being a great state.
You can experience the rich history of Missouri State Capitol by taking a free guided tour. Tours are offered every day of the week year-round. For more information, visit mostateparks.com.